Welcome to the podcast where we take a deep dive into the stories behind construction business leaders. We will share how they got started, how they found success, and the lessons learned along the way. I'm your host, Eric Fortenberry. Welcome to Builder Stories. Welcome back, everybody. Today I am here with Herman Guerra from HG&Co. Did I say that right, Herman?
That's right. Yep.
Awesome, man. Well, I'm super excited to have you here. You know, Herman is located in Dallas, Texas, right here where we're all located with JobTread. I actually have been out to his showroom that I assume he'll tell us a little bit about here in a little bit. But, you know, very excited to have you on. You know, we appreciate you coming and sharing your story, Herman.
Yeah, 100%.
So why don't you give us a little bit of background, you know, who you are, how'd you get into construction, how'd you start HG&Co?
Okay. Yeah, man. I guess I've been asked this 100 times. It's a relatively simple story, pretty straightforward. I'll start back when I was like 8. So my dad worked for the post office, and like on his spare time, he would remodel bathrooms. He'd lay tile, he'd do drywall work, things like that. And growing up, he'd get my brother and I, who's about a year and a half younger than me, he'd wake us up on the weekends, you know, like 6 o'clock in the morning. And you're like, for the love of Jesus, why am I waking up at 6 a.m.? And he did it. He drug us every Saturday. The first stop was Home Depot. So every time I walk into Home Depot, I think of my dad. Home Depot and then straight to the job site. And then he'd keep us out till, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. But it started off with us just going because we had to go. And that led into us handing him tiles when he had to lay a piece of tile. And then sooner or later, he was marking a tile for us to cut on the wet saw. And then before you know it, we were standing next to him, hanging drywall with them, pointing out the light spots and texture, telling him where he went wrong with this tile, just kind of being his eyes and ears. So didn't know it then, but it just super prepared me for now. But before all that, so I had that basis, I had that feeling inside of me of just hard work, construction work. My grandpa worked with concrete. So to fast forward, graduated from UT Austin, was there for 4.5 years. Yep. Hell yeah.
Hook 'em horns.
Hook 'em horns. Was there for 4 years, made my way back to Dallas. I graduated with a BA in government. And what I did with that was for 4 years, for 4 long years, I was a child protective service investigator. And then from that, I went to a juvenile probation officer for 4 years. And in my 4th year there, I created a restaurant with a buddy called 190 Smoked Meats. I ran that for like 3 years, and then I sold it to my partner just before COVID hit. And then I was like, what do I do? Had a couple of kids, a wife, a mortgage. I was like, what do I do? It's not the first time I put myself in a pickle, but I knew it was time for me to leave the restaurant. You know, you just have that feeling. So the sale of that restaurant sustained us for about a year. For that year, I worked for a contractor buddy. I worked with that buddy with the idea that I was going to help him grow a business. I was going to help him grow his business because I now know what I'm able to do. But I was unable to convince him to get me out of the demolition stage. So for years long, I did demolition. I demoed bathrooms. I demoed kitchens. I took down fences. I did it for a year. And then I just got tired of it, just like the restaurant. I realized that this was never going to change. And so and I'm still friends with the dude, but I left him and started my own little handyman. Then it was HG&Co Painting and Repair is what all my first t-shirts, all my logo, all those good things are. And I was a handyman. I was a handyman replacing switches, doing some drywall patches, painting bedrooms, even building small decks. In my first year, I did really well. I was like, damn, I'm doing really well. Until there was this point, and I realized talking to the buddy who I was working for, where I was like, man, I'm wearing myself out. Like, I'm making decent money, but this is ridiculous. And he made a comment to me that changed my life forever. And that comment was, hey, why don't you hire Jose to paint that fence? I was like, huh? He's like, yeah, why are you painting that fence? Hire Jose to do it. I was like, oh my God, you're right. What am I doing? And so that was the first thing I subbed out, was actually the staining of the fence. That was 3.5 years ago. And 4.5 years later, we have a full design build company here by the Dallas Arboretum, where we are working on renovating bathrooms, kitchens, full interior renovations, additions, and we're building 2 houses right now. So it's over the last 3.5 years, super fast paced, very fast paced. To go from a handyman type of concept, wasn't a concept, I was just kind of diddle-daddling, right? To this full design service. And a big portion of that is this design center here by the Arboretum that I leased out during COVID. I leased it out during COVID for no good reason at all, really. I was driving down Garland Road, a for lease sign caught my eye, and I made a U-turn immediately. The next day I met with the owner, and 2 days later I signed a lease. My wife was super upset about it. She was like, what the hell are you doing? I was like, yeah, but I think we can, whatever we can. And so initially it was a construction showroom, right? So I outfitted it with a little kitchen and a bathroom and like a deck area. Exterior, I was trying to show people how we can build. And then out of pure necessity and pure hard work, realized that the construction showroom isn't what we needed. We needed to be lining our customers up with all of the retail, all of the things our clients needed for their renovation. We're relying on our client to give us tile and to tell us the direction. The grout color just wasn't working. So we've actually spent the last 2.5 years completely and slowly, and we'll call it organically, modifying this space so that it is the full retail space as well. Our clients come here both for full design, and then we turn around and sell them their selections, their tile, their vanities, their mirrors, everything they need. It's only a 1,500 square foot space, so we call it a boutique experience. But we are able to outfit a 4,000 square foot home with $50,000, $60,000 worth of the retail needs. And not only that, but then in turn, order and then deliver and organize all these things for our clients is one reason why our companies excel from a handyman paint concept to a full design and build company. It's been a lot of hard damn work, especially not having this big grand plan behind us, right? We don't have investors behind us. We don't have much of anything other than our own intent, our own hard work, my wife and I, and then just trying to find good people to hire. Otherwise, again, this very organic feeling. And like you said, Eric, you were here recently, you visited the space, and this is the most complete it's really ever been. I'm actually about a year away from my lease having to renew. And I'm just now got to the point to where it's fully decked out and full. It's a machine now. We're ready to rock and roll. But it's just taking a bunch to get here.
Yeah.
I'll say I skipped the big gap between this idea of handyman and how we got to this point. And that's because of, I'll go a little bit of depth into a lot of the things that worked for us. A lot of the things that we were able to get accomplished got us over several humps. In this idea of growth, I always feel like we're in this kind of hump that we have to do some things and get organized to get over it, only to wait for the next hump, right? Like we grow, we plateau, we grow, we plateau, and you're like, damn, we're still growing. This is it for me. And, I don't think it's like a secret sauce. I think that it's some very practical, some very real things, some very tangible things that most people can get accomplished. And this is what they are. Number one, be a good person, right? Be honest, be truthful, be transparent, be willing to lose money, be willing to make things right, and be willing to hire the wrong people to get to the right people. I guess for some people easier said than done, but man, just being a good dude and showing people that you're willing to follow through has taken me, I mean, just it's taken me places. It's brought me here. I have lost tens of thousands of dollars in making it right. I've lost tens of thousands of dollars in redoing the tile in the shower because it wasn't the quality we wanted. It wasn't the quality that I sold. We just processed $4,000 in credit because we missed the target on a few things on a $200,000 renovation. The idea of selling something, selling a process, selling quality, selling transparency, it's something that you have to follow through on, right? It's something that I think we can all print out and we can put it on our websites, and we print this on estimates and tell people how great we are. But then it's the follow through. It's a follow through that has got us where we're at now. Because that person who I had to, let's say, retile a shower because it was wrong, ended up referring us to so many people because despite the fact that we made an error, we came back and fixed them, almost impressed them more than the job itself. Resanding 3,500 square foot house because for some reason or another, the finish on those floors was matte in some places and glossy in others, and we couldn't quite figure out why. Ended up having to buff out the entire floors in a Lakewood house and redo it. And that customer is amazing. It left a stellar review and has referred to several people.
Nice.
Because we made it right. We made the experience better. We made an error, came back, corrected it, and made the experience better. So that's some of the things that have worked for us. Some of the other things, and it's a struggle still every day, and that's finding good people.
Yeah.
I think we can all relate to the idea of trying to find the right people for our boat.
And what's your current team look like today?
Currently, we have 2 project managers, operation manager, designer. We hired an assistant designer today, and we 1099 with a couple designers. And then my wife processes all of our retail items. So a few people. I'm actually looking for another project manager. But it's taken a lot to get here. I have the best team that I've ever had. It's taken a lot to get here. I've lost a lot of money hiring the wrong people. This is my new criteria for hiring a project manager. This is my new criteria. It's pretty simple. Know a little about construction. That's negotiable. Number 2, and by far most important, is be a good person. The same things that got me to where I'm at is what I'm looking for now for a new hire. Well, do I want some experience? Yes. But I am looking for good, quality people that can be transparent, that can communicate, that can be nice to customers, that can follow through, not overpromise, all those very simple things. And then the rest of it, we can teach. But it's been such a huge hurdle to try to find good people. I think if you can find someone good, then you have to find some way to keep them. Whether it's directly in salary, it's incentives, it's time off, it's sending them to a small vacation. I don't know what it is, but if you find someone good, you have got to keep them around. I'm at a point, I'm like, no matter the sacrifice, you got to keep someone around. If it weren't for a couple particular people in our company, hell, I wouldn't have the time to be on this podcast right now, really, because when I don't have them, I am bogged down. It's like it's not worth it, right? Being bogged down that much.
Yeah.
The sweat, the anxiety, staying up at night thinking about numbers without the right people. That's like every night.
Yeah. And how did you know when you needed to hire, like, even your first project manager?
Yeah, it's a good question. Eric, I would say listen, I didn't go to UT and then like make the absolute most of it. So no business background, no financial, none of that good stuff. So this is how I knew. I knew this. Saw the numbers in my bank account. I was like, man, we're making good money. And I was like, damn, I'm really tired. And I was like, those two things, I need to hire someone. There was no like formal sit down of number crunching and this and that. I just knew that if I were going to continue, I needed to hire somebody. And that somebody allowed us to do more work, and then it just kind of spiraled out of, it was from there. And like I said, I'm looking for someone now because I'm closing more jobs that we could get to it in a timely manner, right? I have too many jobs sitting in design, and so I need to hurry that process. We just started a kitchen yesterday, and that kitchen from the first visit, my initial visit to construction, took 2.5 months, and I think we need to be a little bit quicker than that. So that just tells that's the reason why I just hired the assistant designer for Katie. But yeah, I think that I've always, and especially here of late, been under the impression or the feeling of kind of just do it. For some reason or another, things have just kind of happened in the right tone and the right rhythm. And I feel maybe a lot of what has held us back the last year or so is my unwillingness to keep hiring, because at a certain point it gets pretty scary. 4 years later, which is where we sit now, I'll say we'll do somewhere around $5 million this year. And again, just being transparent, that's about what we'll do, and that's scary, man. That's crazy scary. While working in the restaurant, my salary was $45,000. This is the first time in my life I've ever made more than $45,000. That's
awesome, man.
These last 2 years. So to go from that to this, and all of a sudden you're running these huge numbers, you're like, what is going on? I have to pay more taxes this year than I made the last 10 years. We've got that under control. But for a particular year that did happen, you're like, man, how is this? How do you go from $40,000 a year to all of a sudden, you're paying out bills and POs $50,000 a month? It's a pretty big jump. So, yeah, that's kind of in a nutshell, like what has worked for us is finding good people and being a good person, finding people and being a good person, and then the follow through.
Do you have are there any particular qualities or characteristics? I mean, how do you test for, is this person a good person when they show up for an interview?
Yeah.
What does that look like for you?
Yeah. So I have my interview questions, more than the answers to, I mean, sometimes yes, it's the answer to the question, but I'm 100% like in the interview, right? So making eye contact with these people, mannerisms, attitude, looking at resumes, but it's I think that I have a decent feel for who people are. I guess I've been wrong a few times here lately, in the last couple of years, but resumes coupled with some face-to-face, I usually get a pretty good feeling for who someone is, like in a 30-45 minute interview. And then, here lately I'll dish out like for the designer, I said, hey, go to the back and give me make me a bathroom board, pull some selections, make me a modern bathroom.
Nice.
Pull me a selection board. She did great at that. And for PMs, just ask them to jot down simple construction process to include permits. If you're well versed, you should be able to knock that out like in 5 minutes, just a few words on a paper. And if you're not, then the idea of just like saying, hey, I don't quite know that, and being able to talk through that goes a long ways. Almost goes more than actually being able to write down the process.
Yeah.
So that's really it, man. It's if someone else has some kind of trick up their sleeves, email it over to me. I would love to know.
That sounds very similar to to what we do here. I mean, it'll when we get an application, Alex, our COO, he'll do an initial call with them, kind of answer questions, tell them about the position, kind of make sure we're on the same page about this. And then if that goes well, then he'll depending on the role, but a lot of times he'll give them like a case, which in our situation, we just give people a job tread org and say, all right, now go figure it all out, build a demo, and then you're going to come in for an in-person interview where they'll spend time with, multiple of us. I've found that it's very important to involve more people on the team. So if one person's real excited and maybe gets, blinded by something else that maybe someone else picks up on, it's really good, I think, to have kind of multiple people involved in it. And so then they'll do the presentation, the demo. I love how, you've come up with some exercises, if you will, where, let's go to the back and put together, kind of some sort of a bathroom board, or it's write down this process. Like, I'm very big on, I think, those hands-on experience, kind of making sure that they really like know what they're talking about in the moment. And then after that, I mean, definitely we check references. I would say talk to as many, references as they can provide. Just again, what are you missing? What, and you got to always take that with a grain of salt, because obviously they're picking the best ones who could be their best friend for all you know. But I think that, and then we also do a through our we have a one of our marketplace partners, Contractor Staffing Source. They actually have like this personality test, if you will, where they go through and they kind of do just kind of different tests based on the position that they're going. That gives us some more insight into some of those characteristics. Are they going to be a good fit for this particular role? And then they also run the background check for us. But I think you're spot on. Like, at the end of the day, the number one responsibility for all of us running businesses is you got to build a great team. It is the thing that will make or break you. And so I love your approach to making sure that you're hiring good people who, at the end of the day, you can trust and will do what's right, by the company, by the customer, whoever it needs to be.
I'll say hopping on well, in regards to all that positiveness, not in regards to, but on the opposite end of the spectrum, I'll tell you what didn't work. Okay, you just told me which things that are amazing, that do work for you, that worked for me, and I'll say that this only came through experience, like finding the right people like this and really sitting down and understanding. Prior to, I was a little bit more naive into finding good people and being excited, almost overly excited before you even really know someone, because you see a resume, right? You see a resume, you're like, oh my God, this is exactly who I need. This is why are they even applying here? Like, hell yes, you're hired. And so, like, the ability to bring yourself off of that is something new to me. I'll say through past experience, and this is a warning for everyone out there, through past experience, don't get too excited on what resumes read. Okay. Interview for the person. I recently had to let go of project manager whom I was paying over $100,000 a year to find out that he was stealing from me. Okay. And I will 100% put that on me and for this reason. Being too excited about a resume, being too excited about someone who you don't truly know, but it's like this love at first sight thing, right? I was like, hey man, you've been building houses for 10 years. You've done all these things. This resume is just super impressive. And met with them, you met with the team, everyone loved them. What I did incorrectly, so don't do this, is to find someone of that quality or whom you think is of that quality, and then let them manage themselves. I was like, he's 10 years building houses. I'm going to sell some estimates. I'm going to do these things. And you, with your assistant, knock out the construction, right? We're going to have construction meetings. We use the project management. We use job tread. You put your information in there. Well, this is what I've learned. Don't do that. Do this. Customize job tread to your job. Give your people these processes and then monitor them this way. Whether you're paying that PM because he's so amazing, 80 grand, 120 bonuses, whatever it is, they have got to be managed. Any failure on them is only because of us, the owner. I really supervise my people through JobTread. Really supervise on that dashboard, everything that comes through, all the dings. I don't let anyone, not even our designers, not even my wife, to do as they want without me checking in. That was a big, that probably cost me around 50 grand.
Wow.
That experience. I probably have, Eric, which is not usual. I probably have 10 customers in Lakewood that think very poorly of us. And those were the 10 projects that he managed. He just left us a mess.
Man, sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it was really unfortunate, but we've come a long ways. I think this is why I have the strongest team I have now. If it weren't for learning that extreme on that end, I push even harder to make a good team. And so we're in a great place. Now on that note, on this idea of being in a great place, man, if you listen, I like JobTread for several reasons. Like, for one, you guys are super like community oriented. You're super, like, Eric, I see you making comments on Facebook to random dudes asking questions, which is not normal, right? For an owner,
doesn't
for
think so either.
CEO to get online and be answering questions like this. No, but it's the reason why you're it's the reason why you're where you are, right? Listen, the JobTread thing, I've been on like 4 other project management systems, 4 of them. I just always kind of want to perfect things. I'm like, that's not working. I need to keep looking. I better look before we get too big, because I want to grow. I want something to grow with us. So I've been on them long, landed on you guys. And man, it didn't take very long for us to realize the potential, but it wasn't until our recent hire, and Bobby knows her well, Marzella. Marzella came to us from a construction school. She lives down the street from the showroom, and we hired her as a project manager. And like 3 weeks later, I promoted her to operations manager and gave her all these amazing things to do. One of which is JobTread. And now, don't get me wrong, we're still in the process of optimizing it, but we've made more progress in JobTread and with processes and with checklists in the last 4 months than we have in the last 2 years. And that's real talk. That's 100% true. She's gone in there and made a whole bunch of cost groups, and all of our schedules are like line item, and it's mind-boggling what she has done on that system to make things easier on us. So for instance, if I start a kitchen, if I start a renovation, by the time I get to that job, she's auto-populated schedules. She's auto-populated, not auto-populated, but she's brought in bid requests. She's done all these things in the system to where now it can go to a designer, it can go to me, it can go to whoever it goes to, and they don't have to rethink everything, right?
No.
They don't have to rethink what's my first step and then my second step. No. You just go to your schedule, you go to your task, and you're going to check off one by one your 15 things that you need to do before it goes to the next person. One really exciting conversation we just had, and one more reason why I love you guys, is because on y'all's marketplace, we just spoke to the automation guy. What's his name?
There's a couple of them.
We spoke to one guy last week, and Marzella and I also at the end of the week got out a big piece of paper, and we wrote down every single step from the first lead visit through the punch list. We wrote down every single step, and we went in between each of those steps, and we found out what can we automate.
Nice.
Upon a signature, we're gonna send an email to these people, right? Upon a customer doing this, everything has action items. We probably found 15 within one job, like a bathroom, that we're now going to take JT a step further and start to automate this. All these tiny things that have to be done that are so easy, that is just takes like the life out of you, because you have to be the one that sends the email. You have to be the one that tells the designer that, hey, this job is ready. Get it ready into it. No. Some templated emails, and some automation is going to be our next step. And I'm super excited that, because it's like hiring another person, right?
Yeah.
It's like hiring another person. It's like, it's exciting to know that I think that even when we're done with that, you can dig even further into job tread and do more, making everything easier, right?
Yeah.
It's just making everything easier. It's just something that we haven't experienced yet. The easy part, like, I'm so tired of things being hard. I'm so tired of losing money because we're unorganized. Let's go by this process. Let's do these things, so that we can get it right the first time. And ultimately, for me anyways, and I think they know this, for me, ultimately, the reason why I'm pushing so hard for this is job tread is going to allow me to step back, right? Job tread is going to allow me to put the brunt of the responsibility on the people that are bringing onto this team. Instead of me having to micromanage and do these things, dictate to people what the process is or what they should do next, so long as we refine job tread as we need, it's going to really allow me to step back. Not only work less, I think, well, on this drive, but also to be more efficient, or be more effective. I just think that I'm going to be able to be less stressed and be more productive. Right? That's the goal.
Yeah. I mean, I love the focus on the systematizing, the processes. I mean, even what you talked about from training people and making sure that new people come on, understand the expectation and what they need to do, and you're giving them these processes to follow.
Yeah.
I mean, that's huge. I mean, how again, a lot of people don't necessarily kind of think about that from a business standpoint. I mean, obviously everyone knows, if you're going to go put in, a new floor, well, here are the things that you got to do to do that process. But, when you think about things of, I'm going to sell a job, I'm going to manage that job, like I need to go from start to finish. You've done a great job of mapping out everything. And I highly encourage everyone to do this. I mean, it sounds like for you, even several years into the business, like just taking a step back for a minute and writing down every single step, and then looking at what can we do to streamline this? Like, where are we spending time that we might be able to leverage automations? I mean, that's huge. I mean, so many people are scared of the automations and Zapier and being able to kind of think about how we can kind of, work smarter instead of harder. But man, like once you do that, it really it frees you up and it frees your whole team up to be able to do more.
Yeah. I think, Eric, listen, I think the very root of this thing is that I think each person, each contractor, each builder, each whatever you are, whatever you call yourself, you need to determine, this is what it is to me. You need to determine what you're in this for, right? And I don't mean like what drives you, that type of thing. This is what I mean. I mean, I had several buddies that are contractors. And at this very moment, they're not doing as much business as I am, but they probably have more money in their pockets. And let me explain why. We spent a ton of money on this showroom. We've spent a ton making sure our technology is up to date, making sure all of our people have what they want. It's a big team. But I think in the very beginning, you have to decide this. Are you in this to just straight out initially just to make a lot of money, put a lot of money in your pockets? Or are you in this for the long term, right? Are you in this to build a business? The difference between my buddies and I is that my buddies are making a decent amount of money, like we are, but what they're not doing, they're not building a business, okay? So if you're the type of guy, the type of contractor that's in it to blow and go, it's super hard to automate and process this and that. But if you're in it for the long run, if you're in it to build a legitimate business, if you're in it to one day step back a tad, I don't see how you don't optimize job tread to its fullest, right?
Sure.
It's otherwise your end game is just endless. There is no end game if you can't optimize some of this stuff, and you always have to be the dude that answers all the questions. You're not building a business. You're not building it to make money. You're making it just to sustain yourself. Over the last 4 years, I've learned, and I learned through my dad. My dad did a lot of work, but he was always broke. I'm like, Dad, why are you always broke? He's just always broke, always tired. He fell asleep in every single movie we ever went to go watch. I'm not in this to give discounts to friends. I'm not in this to make buddies. Pure and simple, whether you like it or not, I'm in this to make some money. I'm in this to make some money. I'm in this for retirement. I'm in this to leave a legacy to my kids. I'm not doing it for free. I'm not giving discounts. And I'm in it, like I said, so that maybe one day my kids can take over, whatever it is. But whatever happens, all they have to do is log into job tread, be trained on those processes. Like the girl that starts on Wednesday, the new assistant designer, you better bet your ass she has tasks in that design phase, and the job groups and the cost groups where she has to check off with every job that's assigned to her. I really can't say enough. And it almost, as I said that, I feel like I say this a lot now. I'm 41. It's weird, like the things you get excited about now, right? It's weird. I'm like, oh, processes, woo, check boxes, woo. 4th of July, I was asleep by like 10 o'clock. But this type of stuff, man, I mean, I could keep going on it just because, for one, I just like the drive. I like the challenge. And there's no other system. And I've sat on a lot of freaking demos before I started using you guys. There's no other system that can do what you guys are doing, especially the part that's the customizable. The customization of job tread compared to any other one out there. There's no comparison.
Sure. I mean, I think though, Herman, one of the most interesting things that I've seen though, when I kind of look at your journey as a whole, I mean, you went from the handyman type work to full remodels, but like, again, this showroom and your focus on design, that's one of the things that, I a lot of times I see people not go that path, and I see that you've really invested in that. And so, I'm curious, I mean, even of the $5 million in sales you're going to do this year, like, what's coming from construction projects versus, I assume you're just, some things you're just selling material, right out of the showroom. I mean, how has incorporating the showroom and the design services, I mean, how has that transformed your trajectory here? And where do you, do you recommend this for other contractors? Is it for everyone? Is it just certain types of contractors? Like, tell us a little bit more about how this has impacted your business.
So if you're in the East Dallas area, I don't recommend it at all. I'll say, man, the sky's the limit with Design Center. Sky's the limit. Like, I've built this. If you build it, they will come, right? If you build it, they will come. The sky's the limit. This is what I find myself questioning now. I'm like, okay, we have this amazing space. I know why we built it, but what more can we do with it, right? Now, let's open up our minds, and what more can we do with the gorgeous 1,500 square foot space, a boutique design center? What other services can we offer? What other, we're outfitted and equipped to do construction for our clients, and like, what more is there? I'm always trying to challenge myself with this idea of more, not to be greedy, but to keep things fun and interesting. Who wants to do the same things over and over again? I know my team doesn't. I know I don't. But that's what this place allows us to do. It allows us to be super creative. It allows us to take the bull by the horns. It allows us to, we're our own destiny, right? We can do what we want with this place. I don't know really where we'd be without it. I do know that possibilities are endless with it.
So when you think back about even like your sales process before versus with it now, like how has it affected your ability to close deals? I mean, are you bringing every customer into the showroom?
Yeah, we weren't initially, Eric. Our main goal now is to get every proposal, every client into our showroom to review the proposal. And I actually just spoke about this last week with Marzella also. And I've been back and forth on charging clients for initial visits, $250, $300, this and that. I did it for a while and I was actually doing really well with it, but I've backed off of it. And here's one of the things I'm gonna really start pushing, because it's a fact of the matter. If I get someone in the design center, I don't know what the numbers are, but my chances of closing that job are much higher. Yeah. Now this is my message to all of our new clients. That is this. We don't charge any fees for that initial visit. We don't charge any fees for that estimate. But in order to receive that estimate, you have to come to the showroom. You have to come to the design center, sit at our conference table, look at our vibe board, right? Sit with me, review the estimate after a quick little 45-second tour of the design center, right? Having someone face to face. I've done it twice. I closed both jobs.
Nice.
And just the ability to keep pace with there. It's just something more to do. But get them in the space, 100%. You asked if I recommend it. And that's a big question. If you have the energy for it, if you feel like you can financially support it, if you see that there's a void for this in East Dallas, there's nothing like what we're doing in this area. There's nothing like it. And if the answer to those three questions is yes, then hell yeah, do it. Hell yeah, do it. If there's a need for it in your community, you have the money to do it, and you have we'll call it energy, you have the guts, the moxie to do it, then let's do it. Let's knock it out.
Where were you all working before? I mean, this is
my garage.
Is your office. You're working out of your home, your garage. So I mean, this doubled up as a place for all your employees to come and work together every single day.
100%.
I mean, bringing in clients too. I mean, it seems like you're killing multiple birds with one stone here.
100%. Yeah, I can think of several different ways of where the money might come from to pay the bills here, right? I mean, it's just it makes a lot of sense. It's more than everything we've spoken about. What it's done in 4 years. It has solidified us as as one of the head construction companies in East Dallas. There are a few really good ones, but man, I think our logo, for one, it's really gorgeous and they look really good on yard signs.
You guys got them all over.
Bro, we have 25 of them around the lake. And I'll say our logo in 4 years is really well recognized. Our company's well recognized. Again, I think some of this is just, of course, a lot of hard work, but some magic and some good luck. But in 4 years, like I said, our logo is just, man, to the extent that where we probably get, Eric, in a given month, 30 leads. I don't know, something like that. So many that it's hard to keep up with.
I mean, I think it gives you that staying power too. When contractors, go out to a homeowner, you really, the homeowner really doesn't know much more than they've seen their website. They've talked to them on the phone. Here, at least they're in person. I can see them and touch them. I know they're real. But other than that, you don't really know that much more about it. But with you, I drive down the street and I see your design center. It is a physical location. There is an office. I can go in there. The people are there. You're not running away with my money.
That's right.
Because I know where you work. I know where your team is.
Yeah.
I think that probably gives a lot of confidence to homeowners. And when you invite them to come to you, say, oh, he's asking me to come out to my design center. I think it does. It takes it up. It elevates the business a whole nother level.
Yeah, for sure. We definitely have clients that reach out to us who know they want to build with us, right? Who aren't vetting us through, or we're comparing our estimate to 3 or 4 other contractors. They come to us, they want to build it with HG&Co, they sign a design agreement, and we just start building. It's for sure an interesting place to be in. It's all just very interesting, man. I was just trying to paint some walls like 4 years ago. That's all I was trying to do. And then it's spiraled into this amazing, crazy thing.
And I mean, it seems too though, like you have a very good handle on all of the possible selections, the different elements that a homeowner may need to decide upon. And so again, it just really, I assume you're helping them kind of make decisions maybe a little bit quicker, making sure that they're more satisfied with it versus just having to look at things online and not being able to kind of feel it and touch it. And is this the faucet, or is this the toilet, or is this the tile that I want? Do I like how that feels? Like, it seems like, again, it really helps facilitate getting that deal to progress, or getting that job, down the road a lot quicker and easier when you've already got samples of everything. You can already show them and help them understand the pros and the cons.
Yeah, for sure. Coming, like I said, anyone who comes here is super excited. You don't expect probably to do something about it, but you don't expect from the road to walk into this place and have access to the things you have access to at such, and the number of things that we offer. I mean, from Arizona Tile, Emser Tile, we have Riyadh, we have Lily. I mean, we have like 7 different tile vendors, right? Flooring, you name it, in a 1,500 square foot space, we're able to help out every single one of our clients. Getting people in here to touch, to feel, to do a dry lay of items, to get excited about a bathroom. From those things all the way to renderings that we knock out in here, right? Every single part of it is what is most likely the reason why we have such a name for ourselves in such a short amount of time. Just that persistent. I'm persistently just trying to make things better. Listen, if so many things can come from this, but this is what I tell I say these words every single day. I say them lots, and my team's gonna hear it 100,000 times. I read a book, and maybe it was called Experience. I read a book, and these 2 words, customer experience. Define it how you want to define it. Define it how you think your customers are going to be the most happy, feel the most respected, that type of thing. But then even then turn around and guarantee those things, quality, transparency. This is how I guarantee the experience for our clients, right? We do it through the design center. We do it through mood boards and the design process. All the checklists that we have are all to guarantee the customer experience. I have a big mood board on Miro. A think board. I have a Miro. It's think board of all the little to all the like big picture things that I want to do. To all the big picture things, and there's a lot of big things I want to do. But at the very top of that board, in big caps and bold, underlined with a star next to it, are the 2 words customer experience. Okay, because it doesn't matter what I do, whether small or really big. My main goal for each of those is to improve the customer experience with a capital C. If you're going to improve that experience, I mean, there is no limit, right?
Yeah,
there's no limit, and that I think it may have been at where I first met you, contractor fight in Colorado.
Denver.
Colorado. Yep. Someone stood on stage. And this was only last year, man. And this is just tells you how quickly things are going. Is that someone stood on stage and they're like, "How much you guys make it? 1 million, 2 million? What do y'all sell?" And then they were like, 5 million. And they're like, "How about 10 million? If you're doing 1 million, why aren't you? What says you can't do 10 million?" I'm like, 10 million? Like who wants a business? Who wants all that work, all that trouble? The $10 million business. And then like a year later, I'm like, wait a second. I think we can build a $10 million business. I really think we can. And I don't think it's 4 years away. I think the time it took to get us from 0 to 5, I think we'll do from 5 to 10 in half the time.
Sure.
Just being more learned, having more experience. And I'm going to say it again, job tread. Didn't have it in the beginning. Sure as hell didn't have the processes in that thing that we have now. I think we can do 5 to 10 quicker than we did 0 to 5. But the idea of thinking that 10 million was like this crazy, scary number, like, oh my God, to like, hey, I think that's possible.
Yeah.
Very realistic. So yeah.
And when you put the right team in place, you've got the right systems, the right processes, you do right by your customer and build a great reputation.
Yeah.
Those are all the keys to your success there. And you guys are nailing it at every corner. And, again, you said earlier, not every project has gone the way you hoped.
Hell no.
And you've made mistakes, but you fixed them, even at the detriment of the profit on that project. It came out of your pocket and you did right by them. And you saw it pay dividends, when they're bringing more customers to you, even though you screwed up. Yeah. You owned it.
100%.
It helped.
Yeah, that's the thing. Listen, if you're, I tell my teams this all the time, my operations manager, this is my message just to them, is that like, if you're stressed out about going into a conversation because something bad has happened, step back and breathe and know that it's just a conversation and we're going to go to the next one. And then when the next one happens, do the same thing. And then if over the next few, you can't de-stress, if you can't go into a meeting calmly because you're so anxious, which is easy, right? It's a bad, hard conversation because something bad has happened. My message to them is that if you can't get over this feeling, come and talk to me. Let's get you some training to get over it, because lots of weird things happen in construction. And if you can't pick up a phone, acknowledge it, and then schedule a meeting like at the next day to have that conversation face to face, you're in the wrong business. You can't ever be transparent. You can't ever be honest. You can't ever do those things if you can't just take this thing with a grain of salt, calculate a quick loss on it, maybe have the conversation and execute the work. A weekend, I don't know. We've done some bad things, man. And I get in my truck. I know the points I want to make before I enter the conversation. And I enter that conversation like I'm talking to somebody about a movie or something, right? It's just super simple. Acknowledge, make some guarantees that you can stand by, and then execute.
Yeah. And again, it's just like you said. I mean, all sorts of things can happen in construction. The one thing that you can control is how you react and how you work through it with the customer, and being open, honest, transparent. Just owning the mistakes that are your mistakes, explaining, hey, this is out of our control, but here's what happened. Here's what we're gonna do. That's what this is all about. Yeah. And it comes back to what you said, Herman. It's all about the customer experience. Customers will decide who they want to hire based on who they like and who they feel that they can trust and work with. That is the more important factor than money a lot of times.
Agreed.
Many people think that they need to come and compete on price, and they need to be the lowest bidder and all that. It's like, no, those are probably the jobs that you don't want. You need to come in and be the best contractor.
Yeah, and for anyone out there who is bidding their projects that way, stop. Stop now. Because I have had several clients tell me to my face that it was more expensive than the next guy, but the reason they're choosing us is because of X number of things, right? Because by that time, they've already been in job tread, they've seen an estimate, they've done all these things. That and the design center, while it may be to us, money isn't always a driving factor for sure, right? And here's one other thing. I said money, it reminded me of something. We're talking about pricing. If you find yourself whittling down your estimates, this is really important. Because you think those numbers are too high. I just said it. I'm going to say it again. Stop. And it took me up until like a year to realize this. And I think the reason I felt this way is because I was pricing things that I couldn't afford, right? I was pricing things and putting an estimate together. I'm like, man, that's fucking expensive. I'm like, whoa, that's a big number. Let me go back to it. Let me slash that margin a little bit. Let me cut down on the trash haul. Let me whittle this down because I think it's too high. I stopped, one big reason I stopped, I'm gonna give them another shout out, is contractor fight. This is what I learned. I learned that you're worth more than that, right? You were trying to build what you're trying to build. Your services are better than that. I'd say on 75% of my jobs now, we gain 50% margins.
Nice.
And it is because I stopped whittling. I stopped pricing things that I couldn't afford. It took me 3 years to realize it. And I'm just like double it, right? And I'm still not the highest dude out there. Which I'm like, what in the hell? I'm still not the highest guy, so I can like double and add some, I guess. I'm doubling sub numbers, and we're closing jobs, and we have some happy people right now.
Again, price isn't everything. Even if the customer tells you, what their range is, what their budget is, what their, where they want to be, like there are so many more factors to making a huge, life-changing decision. I mean, they're investing in their most valuable asset. They're investing in their real estate. They're investing in their quality of life. And sometimes, again, they may be going in wanting to get the best deal, but when you help them understand what they can have and what they're purchasing, it's not just the materials.
Yeah.
It's not just this and that. Like, it's the entire experience that you're going to be providing them. And I want to know I'm going to be taken care of.
Yep.
That's what every customer wants. They don't want to get into that situation. And they've all heard the horror stories.
Yep. Yeah, the horror stories are the reason why we're so damn successful. Because we're the exact opposite.
Yeah.
All the bad contractors out there, man, there are a ton of them. State of Texas, just about anyone can pick up a tape measure and call themselves a contractor. It's just a fact of the matter. It's just being the exact opposite of everyone else. But I said it earlier, and first and foremost, determine what kind of contractor you are, what you're doing it for. And if you're trying to build a business long term, you're trying to sustain, you got to invest in the people and the systems. You got to invest into, for me, it was job tread. You got to invest in it. You got to commit to it. You got to do these things to move you along. And then you're going to grow, and then you're going to hit another hump. And you're like, what do I need to do to get over this hump? And then you're going to do that, and you're going to hit another hump. And then at some point, you decide, like, when you're done building, because I think that's very important. I think that we have actually this year will hit what I thought we were going to build. I thought we were going to build like a $5 million company, just again, having no formal training. I just like, hey, 5 million is a big number. But I think we're gonna surpass that. So now, and that's one thing with the design center. You asked me earlier, is that like the ceiling's always being raised, right? I'm just always like ticking up and up and up and wondering like, man, when is this thing gonna stop growing? When are we gonna? So now saying that out loud, I probably really need to meet with the team and my wife and really decide like where we want to be, because I think the growth is just going to be inevitable having this design center. It's just going to happen unless we cap it somewhere.
Yeah. Man, well, I think you've also done a great job of investing in yourself. You put yourself in the room with all those other contractors, and you saw, hey, here's a bunch of people at less than $1 million, at $1 million. Here are the guys doing 2.
Yeah.
Hey, these guys are at 5. Oh, there's 1 or 2 at 10. Like, again, it gave you the motivation, and it gave you the confidence that there's no reason that you can't be that guy going to 10. Maybe going to 20. Who knows? Yeah. But like, again, I think putting yourself in the room with other contractors to learn from them, to learn from their successes, learn from their challenges. Like that is part of the key here. Is don't just settle. Don't just be a guy who can sell, a small remodel project when you can grow and you can get into larger projects and you can build a professional organization. You can become a successful remodeler just like others, but you got to invest the time and to learn and to develop yourself, to develop the right team, to develop the systems and processes. I mean, Herman, it's been awesome, getting to see, from where we met, to where you're at today. And I can't wait to see where you're at a year from now, 2 years from now, because it's going to be huge, man.
Yeah. Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate you coming on, Herman, and sharing this. And, I know that you've told me, for if there are other contractors here in the DFW area, like you'd be welcome to have them come out to your showroom to just see what you're doing. I appreciate that. Obviously we've got Job Tread coming Connect coming up in January, where a bunch of contractors will be coming out. But I think that again, what you're doing, you're leading by example.
Yeah.
You don't have everything figured out, and that's okay.
Yeah.
You're learning every single day. You're implementing. You're improving. You're focusing on the right things, the people, the systems. The doing right by your customers, and that's what it takes to be successful in this industry. And I think you've done an excellent job role modeling that for others. So I just want to thank you for that.
Yeah, hey man, I'm gonna throw this out there. We've spent again a ton of time on job trade getting things right. Anyone listening to this podcast in the DFW area, I am willing to share all of this hard work we've put into it. We can show you some systems, some processes that are all nestled in job trade, all making things flow. This is what you have to do. You have to come visit my design center. Come visit our design center, come meet our team, look at the services and the product we have to offer, and I can show you how to simplify your life a bit on job trade.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked how you can make it very turnkey for them to be able to offer up all the same products that you've got in your design center there.
100%.
So, awesome, man. Well, hey, we appreciate that. Again, keep growing, keep doing great work.
Yes, sir.
You're living it. And it's awesome to see how much success you've had. Obviously I love that you're a Longhorn as well. Hook 'em horns. Sir. Keep up the good work, man.
Yeah, man. You guys too. We'll see you soon.
All right,
brother.
See you.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us for this episode of Builder Stories. We hope you enjoyed the conversation and gained valuable insights that can help you in your journey along the way. Don't forget to subscribe to the show and leave us a review. And as always, if you or someone you know has a story to share, please contact us at builderstories.com. We'd love to hear from you. I'm Eric Fortenberry, and remember, every builder has a unique story. Keep building yours.